Good morning. You are welcome to the computer aided drawing class. In our previous class, we have looked at how to create shafts, bolts, and the likes on the part drawing. But the challenge we have is that parts like bolts and shafts that should not be sectioned are sectioned in the assembly. And sometimes we have to go back to check that part of the section to be removed. But we could actually avoid that by creating our shaft and our bolt directly on the assembly. And the advantage of that is that inventor will see the shaft or the bolt that is selected or designed on the assembly as shaft and as bolt, and automatically exclude them from sectioning. Okay, so this class now we want to look at how to design a shaft on the inventor. Okay, to do that, let's go to our inventor, click on new, then you design your shafts on the assembly. So you click on standard IAM. Okay, great. Okay, so here is our inventor assembly environment. Okay, we are used to this, how we'll place our objects and add them together. Okay, so let's come to design. So click on design. You see that you have some options: bolted connection, clevis pin. Okay, you have a different type of it. You can insert frame analysis as under the frame. Then you have shaft design, spur gear design, and you can see you have other options in it: spur gear, worm gear, and bevel gear design. You have bearing design, feedback design. You have other that you can design on the feedback design. You have the key, you have the disc clamp. Okay, you have the parallel splines and the O-rings. Okay, all this under power transmission. Okay, you see there are other options here, what you can do to what you design in the power transmission. Now our focus here is on the shaft design, so we are going to be designing this shaft. So I'm going to click on these shafts. Okay, so you see first, so let's call it shaft design 1. Okay, I'm going to save that. Now once you do that, automatically it brings out a shaft. So this is the last one I designed, so we're going to reproduce this. Okay, so I'm going to delete some parts so that we can start again. So I'm going to start from here. Let me get this off. Let me get this, let me remove this. Yeah, let me remove this. Okay, and now I'm going to remove this. Okay, so this just give us a blank. All right, so we are designing the shaft. I'm starting from this end of the shaft, right from the bottom. So we have a shaft length of 75, I believe. The dimension is not 2K, but let's assume this is 75. A shaft length of 75, and diameter, I guess this looks like 18. This is 34. This is 26. So I'm going to take this as 18. All right. So shaft diameter of 18 and the length of 75. So let's come here. So already has designed the shaft. So click on edit, diameter of 18. Okay, and then you have a length of 75. Okay, once you click outside this, it give you the length. All right, so you can okay now. Now there are other features on the shaft that you can add. Like on this end of the shaft, we have a chamfer 2 by 45 degree on this end. So come to this place. This is the shaft. So come to the left hand side, 2 by 45 degree for chamfer. So you can put a chamfer, you can put a fillet, a lock nut, a thread, a keyway groove, and then a keyway groove with one shroud at the end. All right, so I want to put a chamfer now. So I click on chamfer. Now it gives me another dialog box. What is the details of my chamfer specification? What we have here is we have 2 by 45 degrees. So I select 2 by 45 degree already there. So you can change this angle if it's different. So click OK. Already the chamfer is created on this end. Now on the other end, there is uh, no features there. But along this place is something here that is not too clear. Okay, I'm going to take that as a it's just not a relief. I'm going to take that. Let's assume that's a groove. Okay, let's assume that's a groove. All right. I'm coming. This feature should be here. So let's assume that's a groove. Something of this nature or this. Let's see which one. We can add a hole to it. We are going to add a recess along the line as one that has a recess. Okay. Okay. So let's assume it's this type of groove. Let's go big. Let's change that a bit. Okay. But that doesn't really look like it. But I'm just going to take that as a groove. So we'll go on with that. Diameter is 18, length is 75. That's for the shaft. The depth of the groove, I'm going to just pick something small here. So let's call this one 1 mm. Okay. The radius, I'm just going to call it 2 mm. Okay, that's to reduce what is there. Okay, now the distance, this is 75. And then from here to here, that looks like 65, I guess. So let's just call this one 10. Okay, so we move the groove to the end there. Okay, so we can click OK. All right, so that has designed that for this groove. Now, if there is a hole on the shaft, if there's a hole on the shaft, we can add that. Come here, you see, add retaining ring, add keyway, add wrench, add relief, add a hole. So we can put a hole on the shaft if there is a hole. So let me assume there's a hole on the shaft. Okay, and that the diameter of the hole, let's call the diameter of the hole, let's just call it 3 mm. Okay, very small. And then the distance of the hole, let me say the hole is just before the groove. Let me call it 5. Okay, so that's where the hole is created. And then you can click OK. So that is how can be created on the shaft. Now let's move to the next end of the shaft. We have done this part of the shaft. What we have next is this. This is diameter of 34 and a thickness of 5. So to do that, just come here, click on the cylinder. If what you want to create is another type, we'll get to that later. As a cone, we see that. So we click on the cylinder, so we have this. All right, so that gives me the next part, which diameter we can edit. Come here and edit the diameter to be 34. So we have that. And then the thickness or the length is 5. So we have that. So click OK. So that's done. All right. The next thing is this part, this conical part. Now, if you look at this is still in a split section of the part. So that is a step. So that's a step shaft. Okay, if I click on this, it's going to give me another step of, let's say, what is going to add in another one here. So all I just need to do again is to specify what's the diameter, what's the radius, and the length. Okay, what I want is not the split section. What I want is a cone. So click on cone. Okay, and which is this one. Okay, let me delete this and go back. So after this, all right, so we click on cone, which is this. Okay, we can now edit them. All right. Now, the diameter of the cone is given to be 34, no, 26 from here. So D1 will be 26. It's locked before, so I have to unlock it for me to do anything. All right. So D1 is 26. Okay. And D2, that's the diameter of this, that's 16. That's 16. Okay. And the length of that cone looks like 28. So I'm going to just use 28 for that. Okay. So I can click OK. Now you will notice that there is something here, though it looks like a hole, but there are limitations to what can be done on the conical section. Okay, unlike what we have for the other one, now you have so many features. But what we have is only chamfer and fillet. There is no groove, there is no hole, there is no keyway because that's not allowed for a shaft. They are going, I mean, for a conical section of a shaft, is going to put some stress on it. So if you look at here, this one is not even highlighted at all, okay? Because some of those features are not allowed for a conical part of the shaft. Okay. If you look at this side, same, because it is a cone. So some of those features cannot actually fit in. All right, so that ends that part of the shaft. Now the last one is this end. Diameter of this is M16, so diameter of 16, and then by 22. So I'm going to add another cylinder, edit, diameter 26. Oh, sorry, diameter of not 26, 16 rather. Pardon me. Diameter of 16. Diameter of 16. Okay, and the length is 22. Okay, so I can click on OK. Now you notice that three features are on this. Here you have something like a groove, but this is called a relief. So you have a relief, okay, and on this end you have a chamfer. Okay, I'm going to assume the chamfer is same as this 2 by 45 degree. And also on this shaft here, you notice that it's the only part that has another internal hidden line. That means that is threaded. So that end is threaded. So we are going to add thread, add relief, and at the same time, we are going to be adding a chamfer. So I'm going to start from the relief on this end. Okay. So come here, you add the keyway, retaining ring, add a relief. Okay. I can add a relief. Okay. Automatically position my relief in the middle of the shaft, but the relief as the end is at the start of the shaft. So I'm going to come here. All these are given distance of relief. Just take that to be 0. All right. So I'm just going to leave other features as it is since they are not given. So I'm leaving that as it is. Okay. Then the same time we have a chamfer on the other hand. Let me chamfer before I thread. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to introduce here rather. I'm going to introduce a chamfer. Okay. And I'm using 2 by 45 degree. Okay, notice it has introduced a shaft at the end also. And the last thing that it has is a thread. So I'm going to introduce a thread to it, a thread. Okay, so now details of the thread. Yes, length is 22, diameter is same as 16. Now the length of the thread, if you look at this, the thread covers the whole length. So I'm going to just use it as 22 too likewise. So that's covered for that. Chamfer is there, okay. And then what next? I think every other features can just, you can leave every other features. Okay. Yeah, thread 16 by 2 is given. You can change that if you want, 16 by 3 or 16 by 4. 16 by 2 is given. You can change whether it's a left hand thread or right hand thread. It depends on what is given in the question. All right, so you've done that, you can click OK. So that has covered the whole features of the shaft, and then you can click OK. Okay. So this is the shaft that was designed. Okay, you can look at this. This is the shaft. Back to home. So you can save it, and then let's try to generate the drawing file for the shaft. Okay, so we go to standard IDW, new ISO IDW, create. Okay, so let's place our shaft. Okay, now automatically it has placed a shaft here, right? So let's do sectioning now. Section. Now, since it's the only item that is there, it sees this as part you want to section, so you can click on this. Okay, so center. Okay, let's create our section of view. Now you notice that the shaft is not hashed or sectioned because Inventor sees it as an assembly. But if you have created a shaft on the part, it will see it as a part, as a body, and it's going to cut through it. So that's the difference between creating a shaft on the part drawing, a 3D model, and then on the assembly. So this make the work easier a bit. All right, so thank you for listening. See you next class.